And I think the Iranian people see through it, and I hope people outside the world begin to see through it as well.
Thank you. Well, we have exhausted my questions that I planned to ask, so it's now your opportunity here. Let's start way in the back was the first hand I saw, and then we'll work our way forward in the room. Please identify yourself. Thank you.
Welby Lehman with Walmart. You describe an Iran that would be secular and pluralist. One of the areas of pluralism is, of course, a plural set of opinions about secularism versus Islamic Republic versus maybe other options. Are there hybrid options or other ways of maximizing respect for that sort of pluralism?
Look, separation of church and state in my book is a prerequisite to actual democracy, and we have had the proof of it in numerous different Western democracies. The degree of lائیسیته, as the French will say, may vary a little bit. In France, you cannot even wear an actual symbol that defines your faith, whether it's the Star of David or Allah or the cross, whatever it is. In America, you can. There may be some differences. But the important element here is a clear separation of church from state. That's definitely a foregone conclusion in Iran. In fact, it will be in the advantage of the Shiite faith as well. And most of our clerics will recognize that the minute you start giving a privileged treatment of one ideology, whether religious or otherwise, it's the beginning of discrimination from the dead start. So the only guarantee in that sense is equality under the law, liberty of opinion, of expression, or faith, of ideology. And as long as the Constitution, as the law of the land, ensures that, that's where individual liberties and equality of citizens under the law can be achieved. And that's exactly what Iranians are pursuing. So that's very important to understand, that we are not going to be in any form or shape questioning the fact, because in Iran, we don't have the problem that some people in the West may have. The minute you question radical Islam, you're treated as someone who is perhaps Islamophobic. It has nothing to do with Islamophobia. It has to be the understanding that there are many Muslims around the world that are moderate, that are not radical, but there are some who are. And they are the problem behind the mess we see today. And we recognize that our country is the first victim of it, because they try to impose it on us and take us hostage in the first place. So whether or not a French citizen or a British citizen or an American citizen ultimately gets it, the Iranian people now have gotten it all the way. Today's Gen Z is totally aware of these dynamics. They don't have a problem with the fact that a secular Iran doesn't mean that we are anti a faith or another. It simply means we respect and we would like to have freedom of religion in our country. That should be the first guarantee. And that will explain why, because of this regime, many Iranians of other faiths had to flee the country because of immediate persecution. But in tomorrow's free Iran and secular Iran, those rights and guarantees, the same liberties of Iranians that had to seek asylum in countries that offer them that liberty, would like to be able to have the same liberties back home. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. The very same liberties that we enjoy here, we should be able to enjoy them back in Iran itself.
I know I said I was going to work from the back to the front, but I feel compelled to call on the gentleman right here in the front. So, compelled on a variety of levels.
Mike Froman, President of the Council, thank you for being here. When you envisage a possible uprising, how do you assess the relative importance of factors like economic deprivation, desire for democracy, desire for more just day-to-day social freedom, and something you mentioned in passing, ethnic tensions, the non-Persian elements of Iran, the Turkic, the Azeri, the other populations, the other minorities that may feel aggrieved. How do you see the various drivers of a potential uprising being assessed?
Well, again, a lot of what we have seen in recent years, gathering of Iranians around Cyrus the Great's tomb in Pasargad, all the way to the Mahsa Amini uprising, and basically the slogans that have been used or chanted in Iran as early as last week, as late as last week, and throughout these years, it's all pointing to a collective national, if you will, slogan. And they keep saying, you know, from Zahedan to, I don't know, the other side of the country, our life is dedicated to this cause of liberation. We'll get our country back. The country getting back is for all of them, whether you are from Baluchistan or from Kurdistan or from Azerbaijan. It transcends anything that would be otherwise considered that, is this really sectarian or is it really national? You know, Iranians as a whole have always felt as part of that country for centuries. We never had this issue that this regime has created before the revolution. Nobody would walk the street and say, oh, this guy is Muslim, this guy is Jewish, this guy is Baha'i, or so on or so forth. Our national team was comprised of representatives of various faiths and religions. It was our national team. Everybody was Iranian. Iranian Kurd, Iranian Azeri, Iranian Jew, Iranian Zoroastrian, and so on and so forth. And I think the same spirit of our national identity binds us all together. So I'm very comfortable and very confident that the minute all those who were disenfranchised, and yes, the regime was the cause for discrimination, whether it was ethnic discrimination, sexual discrimination, religious discrimination, or any other type of discrimination, that they will find again in that future the fact that nobody will ever feel unequal next to somebody else. And that's the whole spirit that gels them together. And they understand that they have to pitch in and contribute. They cannot just sit back and expect it to be handed to them on a silver platter. Kennedy once said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you could do for your country. And what you can do for your country right now is the basis of incentive that brings the people together. They find each other, they respond to one another, they chant together, the slogans are coordinated, and it's very representative and very diverse. So that's one thing. And I think ultimately the course is, you know, I always, and that's the reason for IPP, Iran Prosperity Project. What is the roadmap to recovery? What are the immediate issues that we need to tackle to make sure that, first of all, the transition is stable, that the economy will be stable, that will have elements that considers all these factors, short-term, mid-term, and ultimately long-term. That's what really is the tangible elements for people to understand in what way they can benefit from this change. Because liberty, human rights, and democracy is, as we would say here, motherhood and apple pie, but does it actually put food on the table? And if we explain how and the country can get restarted and what are the preconditions, then I think the average person, particularly those who are most affected in areas that has been the most impoverished, Baluchistan is one, Kurdistan is one, will understand how they will benefit as a result. So rather than being in a sense of resisting change, they know that it cannot get any worse than what it is right now. And there's light at the end of the tunnel. But it requires collective participation. The call for a national uprising simply doesn't mean that somebody is going to come and, you know, bring it on a silver platter. It's a call to a sense of responsibility and contribution and collective action. So everybody has stake in it. It's their campaign. It's not my campaign. It's their campaign. It's a national campaign that transcends any type of grouping, whether it is on ideological basis or ethnic reasons or what have you. It transcends all of that. And that's our collective cause. And that's why I think the Munich conference was successful. Because at the end of the day, we call for very simple, fundamental principles for all of us to agree on to be able to work together. Iran's national territorial integrity is critical. Again, individual liberties and equality under the law is one of the core principles. Separation of church from state or religious from government is a very important prerequisite. And of course, and last but not least, the right for the Iranian people to be able to freely determine their own future by means of free elections, which is why the constitutional process is part of the dynamics of political change and what will come in the future. That has been the basis of this platform that has bring all these diverse elements together. And we saw that and the success of that conference in Munich. And it's on that basis that we are regularly now progressing. I'm sure I will get much more data through the website. We just launched not even 2 days ago. It's in initial phase. And the response has been tremendous. It's not a one-way conversation. People are sending already ideas, plans, suggestions, progress, and all of this will be something to be monitored. The English version of the site should be up fairly soon, and all of these articles will be translated. So you will be able to see how people are responding and are contributing to this. Those are really the measurables that will be able to let you understand and actually feel the dynamics of this process and how people are responding to it and how they're working together. And I think that's a very big element to satisfy those who still have doubt whether or not Iranian people are ready and able to do whatever it is that is asked from them to do at this time.